Hey beauties! So I don't know how to start out this video, so I'm just going to go ahead and hop into it. And also, if you hear echo, sorry. I'm pregnant. This is what this video is about, and this is our nursery, so you kind of get like a sneak peek glimpse, even though it's nowhere near being close to being done. But anyways, so there's kind of an echo in here, but hopefully it's not too bad. Anyways, so I wanted to make this video just so that I remember what all happened in my first trimester. And I have like family that lives pretty far away, and so they can watch this video and kind of see how I've been feeling, like what went on during the first trimester. Friends that live far away can watch, and if a type 1 diabetic happens to stumble across my channel somehow, maybe I can help them or like give them some information, because there's really not a lot of information about, or videos about, that I have found about pregnancy with type 1 diabetes. So I'm just gonna start talking about my first trimester. And right now I'm currently in my second trimester. I'm 17 weeks, but my past 2 ultrasounds I have measured 6 days ahead, so it looks like I'm really 18 weeks, but I don't know how all that works. And yeah, so I'm 17 or 18 weeks, one of those. But anyways, so my first trimester. I would say I started, well, maybe I should tell you guys like how I found out I was pregnant, which, yeah, I'll tell you that part first. So my husband and I were trying, and we did, luckily, thank you God, we got pregnant on our first try, the first month we were trying. And I was so nervous about it because I thought it would take us quite a while, especially with me being diabetic and having hypothyroidism. I thought there might be some issues with us conceiving, so I thought it was going to take a while. And so we had tried, and about 4 days before I missed my period, I took a pregnancy test because I was just super anxious and wondering, like, am I pregnant, am I not pregnant? And on that pregnancy test, it came back negative. So I was like, oh, I guess, it didn't work. And then I kind of got discouraged already because I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to take a while. Like, it kind of made me think, like, I don't know, your mind goes like 100 different places. But it turns out I was just testing too early, because then on the day I was supposed to get my period, I think it was like around that morning, it was a Sunday, my husband had left to go put up a deer stand or something, or deer feeder or something for hogs or whatever. I don't know. My husband had left, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take another one just to see, because I'm supposed to get my period, but it's not here yet. But it was early morning, so I had all day to get it. And then my period either comes like a day or two before or after the day that I have it tracking on an app. But I took the pregnancy test, and that one came out positive. So after that one came back positive, I took another one immediately after, and it came back positive as well. So I was like, okay, we're pregnant. So that was that. I didn't really have, okay, actually my one symptom that, I don't know if it was a symptom, a coincidence, what it was, but I cannot stand McDonald's food. It's disgusting to me. I haven't ate it, well, at that time I hadn't eaten McDonald's since like my freshman year of high school. And one night, my husband and I had already eaten dinner, and I was like, I'm really craving McDonald's. We were on our way to the store, and I was like, I really want McDonald's. I don't know why, but I was craving some chicken nuggets and fries, like a Happy Meal from McDonald's. And I hate McDonald's. I never want McDonald's. It grosses me out. It's disgusting. Makes my stomach hurt. Blech. But I wanted McDonald's. And my husband made the joke, oh my gosh, you're pregnant. Like, you're probably pregnant. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But it was super, super early, like right after we had tried. So I was like, that was weird. But if you count that as a symptom, I had that weird McDonald's craving, which I haven't had anymore since then. And then the other would be sore breasts, but that always happens to me like a week before I get my period. That's like my PMS symptom, is I always get like really sore breasts. So I didn't really think I was pregnant. Like I didn't know. So besides those two things, I didn't have any symptoms telling me, oh girl, you need to take a pregnancy test because you're pregnant. Like I just knew we were trying, so I knew to take a pregnancy test or not. But anyways, so my pregnancy symptoms started, besides the sore breasts, started at week 6. So like week 6, I had food aversions, mainly red onions. Like up until now, I had loved red onions. And one morning I had made like a homemade egg scramble bowl with sauteed red onions in it. And I literally picked out every red onion because I could not, like I thought I was hungry for it, but apparently I wasn't. And I have had a food aversion with red onions since then. I still do now. I don't know what the deal is with that, but ugh, that's gross. Red onions, I had a lot of food aversions in the first trimester. So food aversions, nausea, I did have a really bad, crazy nausea. I'm glad that that's over with. That pretty much ended at week 12 or week 13, however they're counting my weeks these days. I'm gonna say week 12. It pretty much ended, but I had a really severe bad nausea from week 6 to week 12. So with the nausea, I never ended up getting sick throwing up, which I'm very thankful for. But if I would have tried, or like I could have if I would have tried, but I'm the type of person where, like, you know, most people, when you feel sick, you try to make yourself throw up to feel better. I'm not that person. Like, I try everything in my power not to throw up. So I would gag. Like, I was so nauseous, I'd gag and, like, you know, want to dry heave, basically, and I would just, like, keep it back. Like, no, you are not throwing up. So, I don't know, maybe that was the deal. And also, as soon as I started to feel nauseous, what really helped me was eating, like, a protein bar or eating something. Because if I would have not eaten, I have no doubts I would have thrown up. So eating really helps, even though it's the last thing you want to do when you're nauseous. When you're pregnant and you're nauseous, it's a lifesaver, so eat something. So let's see, food aversions, nausea, bloating was another symptom. I had really bad bloating just like week 6 and week 7. Actually, like that was even probably really a symptom when I had taken the pregnancy test. I had really bad bloating, but I just blame that on, oh, I'm about to get my period too. But nope, it was just pregnancy bloating. And then what else? Exhaustion. Exhaustion is no joke. Like the nausea and exhaustion that comes with pregnancy, oh my goodness, it's on another level. Like I have been extremely exhausted, and I am in my 2nd trimester now. I'm supposed to have my burst of energy. I feel like I do have a little bit more energy, but not really, because I also just found out my thyroid is kind of out of whack again, so I've had to up my thyroid medication for my hypothyroidism. So that's another thing pregnancy affects when you have hypothyroidism and diabetes. But anyways, back to the first trimester. I'm trying to remember, like, off the top of my head. I did not prepare for this video at all. I'm just trying to remember what all I experienced. Mainly, I would say nausea and food aversions were the worst symptoms, and exhaustion were the worst symptoms of the first trimester. So as far as like diabetes goes, if you're type 1 diabetic and you've stumbled across my channel, or if you know someone that is type 1 diabetic, or you just want to know, as far as type 1 diabetes goes with my pregnancy, I've been kind of the opposite of what type 1 diabetics normally are during pregnancy. Normally when you get pregnant, your blood sugars elevate dramatically, and it's, you know, it is hard to control. Like, let me just say this real quick. I'm not a very confident, like super, like I'm not an egomaniac at all, but I'm going to tell you, first of all, you're a hero anyways. Like, you are amazing anyways if you're a mother and you're going through pregnancy in general, like, because it's you know, it can be hard, but it's an amazing thing. So, you know, all mamas need a pat on their back, but if you're a type 1 diabetic going through pregnancy, we need 2 pats on the backs, because we are rock stars. Like, it takes a lot. Pregnancy with type 1 diabetes is, I don't even know how to explain it. A lot more goes into it than I ever thought. And I thought, you know, I mean, I knew a lot would go into it, but since being pregnant, I don't know, like, I have so much respect for every mom, but those mamas with type 1 diabetes, we are rock stars. That's all I can say about that. But, so I'm opposite. In the first trimester, my blood sugars went low. I literally had a low every single day up until I hit my second trimester. So, you know, that's not good, because there's a very fine line with your blood sugars during pregnancy. You have to be very, very, very well controlled for it not to affect your baby. Or, you know, it could still affect your baby, but to have the least amount of effect on your baby. I don't know how to word stuff. So for me, I know it can vary a little bit from person to person, like just by a few points. But for me, my blood sugars were set, like my blood sugar goals were set at 60 to 130. They were not to rise over 130. And so they weren't to go below 60, but they weren't to rise above 130, which is very hard whenever you are type 1 diabetic. If any of you are type 1 diabetic, you know the struggle. So, and it's very important that your blood sugars don't go over 130, because higher blood sugars can cause birth defects and problems with your baby. And it also causes the baby to grow larger, and that can cause you to need to deliver earlier, and, you know, some other problems. But when your blood sugar is low, like mine was low every single day the first trimester, despite all the changes my doctors were making, which my doctors just looked at me like, you are a backwards diabetic, basically, because every other pregnant person, their blood sugars elevate and they have to give them more. And I've actually decreased my insulin the most it's ever been decreased before. I'm taking the least amount of insulin I've ever taken. And so they were just a bit shocked about that. But low blood sugars can cause your baby to starve, basically, and to grow smaller. So luckily I was eating enough and catching my lows fast enough that my baby's still measuring perfectly fine. Besides, he's measuring 6 days ahead. But as far as his measurings go, he is measuring perfect. So he wasn't starving or anything. I was eating enough snacks and eating enough food where luckily he's perfectly fine. By the way, he's a he. And wow, I have like so many things to talk about. I can't even think of like what to say and what to talk about next because I have so much. But so I have been going low, but normally it is to be expected that you go high. And the longer that you are pregnant, if you're type 1 diabetic, the more insulin resistant you get due to the placenta. And so I will start to need my insulin back, like need more insulin, because I'll start to rise higher. And I've already noticed that in my second trimester because I'm not having lows every day anymore and I am starting to run a little bit higher. So speaking of my blood sugar goals are 60 to 130. It's actually 60 to 99 before meals and 99 to 130 after meals, like an hour to 2 hours after meals. So 130 is like the highest that you are supposed to, or that I am supposed to go while pregnant, and it's normally like 140, but my doctor is a bit of a perfectionist, and so mine is at 130. And the 60, which most people think, okay, that's low blood sugar. During pregnancy, it's a little bit different because your hormones help to make a 60 okay. I don't even know. Because before I was pregnant, my lows were considered 80 and below was a low if I felt shaky, like 79 and below. And then, but most of the time, I started to feel shaky at like 75 and below. So I would need to drink juice or eat Skittles or do something to treat my low. But, so yeah, so 60s are perfectly fine during pregnancy, according to my doctor. With me, as long as I don't feel shaky, weak, any of the low symptoms. If I do feel low, I do need to treat my low, even if I'm like 68 or 74. But you also, when you're pregnant, won't need as many carbs to treat your low. So I don't know, pregnancy is just very interesting when it comes to your type 1 diabetes management. I've had to learn a lot. Another thing is I am on a very strict low carb diet. I've never been on a low carb diet the whole time I've been diabetic, and I will be diabetic 13 years this January. And I've never been on any kind of a diet. I've been able to eat whatever I want, eat cupcakes, like whatever I want. And now I'm on a very strict low carb diet, but it has helped tremendously because even though it's very hard, especially being pregnant and having cravings, and during my first trimester, I craved nothing but sweet stuff. I could not stand sour or salty. Well, sour was okay because I ate like a half dill pickle, half blue coconut snow cone one day, sugar-free. But I didn't want anything salty. All my cravings were sweet. Before I was pregnant, I was testing my blood sugar like probably 4 to 6 times a day. Now that I am pregnant, I'm testing it anywhere from 10 to 15. Ooh, y'all are about to fall. Okay, sorry. Anywhere from 10 to 15 times a day. So you have to test your blood sugar a lot more often. And I do wear the Dexcom continuous monitoring glucose system, but I don't always trust it, so I test anyways. Which I guess you wouldn't have to prick your finger as much, but I'm extra careful, and so I just prick my finger 10 to 15 times a day, which is nuts, but worth it for a healthy baby. Before pregnancy, my A1C was 6.1, and now during pregnancy, with me doing the low carb diet and making sure my blood sugars don't go over 130, I have an A1C of 5.1, which is absolutely amazing. It's never been that low. It's awesome because that is better. Sorry if you hear my dogs barking. An A1C of 5.1 is better than some people that don't even have diabetes. So that I'm very happy for. I kind of teared up when my doctor told me that because I'll have diabetes 13 years in January. And I have never had an A1C that low. So I'm really happy. At this point, there is not really any effects on my baby and his health with me having a healthy A1C of 5.1. But she does warn me, and it is to be expected, that I will get more insulin resistant. I will have higher blood sugars and need more insulin to correct those blood sugars. And, it's still going to be a difficult road ahead, and who knows what will happen if he'll start growing too big. It's the unknown. Also, if you see this, I have makeup swatches right here. I just remembered I didn't wipe them off before filming this. But anyways, so I think surely that's probably not it of everything with diabetes and pregnancy. But also, if you're not diabetic, an A1C is your average blood sugars over the course of about 3 months, and an A1C, anything over 5.7, I think, alarms that you could be diabetic, and it can go all the way up to. Sorry, if you notice that my video is kind of choppy, it's because my camera like shuts off for some reason, like after every 2.5 to 3 minutes. So it's really annoying. But I'm gonna try to pick right back up of where I've left off. So a normal A1C, I think, is 5.7 and below to like, I'm sure there's a certain number, but I'm not sure what that number is. Probably like 4 or 4.5, I don't know. And anything over, I believe, a 5.7 triggers you that you're probably diabetic on your lab work. So an A1C of 5.1 for a type 1 diabetic is amazing. So I'm very proud of myself for that. And but it takes a lot of work. Like, it's not easy at all. Pregnancy with type 1 diabetes is even more stressful than if you're just pregnant and someone without diabetes. So it takes a lot more care, it takes a lot more appointments. That is something, if you're a type 1 diabetic, it's very important for you to be financially stable, because the amount of doctor's appointments you will have is unreal, because you probably have about 5 times as many doctor's appointments as a normal diabetic, if not more. Like right now, right now it just changed because I'm doing so well, they don't have to see me as often, but my first trimester, I was going to the doctor once a week, to some sort of a doctor, if not twice a week. Whether that be my OBGYN, my ultrasound prenatal specialist, my endocrinologist. Somewhere else, someone has sent me, when you're high risk as a type 1 diabetic during pregnancy, they send you for many other things, like an EKG. I just had to have an EKG done, and I'm like, where does that come from? But that's something you have to do. So just be prepared. It is a lot of doctor's visits and a lot of money. So you need to be financially stable if possible. One of the other things I had to do was, at 11 weeks, I had to do blood tests. It was a blood test that somehow it tests the baby's placenta out of my blood. Excuse me. And it's a chromosomal abnormality blood test, and it tests for chromosome abnormalities in your baby. And it can also tell you the gender, and that's how we found out the gender so soon. Which we got our blood test results back at 12 weeks. I had it done at 11 weeks. We got it back at 12 weeks, and my doctor called our friend and told him what we were having so that we could have a gender reveal party. But luckily, all of that came back negative and low risk. So with all my future pregnancies, I'll never have to do that again. But it is something you have to do when you have a high-risk pregnancy. What else? I know there's more stuff, but I can't think of everything. I should have made like some notes or like thought about this before I sat down to film it, but I wanted this as like my memory, my little keepsake memory. I want to have it all on video, because I'm sure I'll forget something, because I have awful memory and I want to remember all of this. So I'm going to film this video, which is my first trimester. I want to film a second trimester video and a third trimester video. And just sit down, talk about all my symptoms, talk about what's been going on with my diabetes with it, what all I had to have done or not have done. Yeah. So I don't know what else to say. I can't think of what else I need to tell you. But as soon as I stop this video, I'll think of like everything I forgot to talk about. But yeah. Anyways, I guess that's it with that. Oh, let me show you the bump real quick. And I started showing super early. Let me see. So y'all can see. Stand back more. I don't know. Maybe y'all can see it. There might be like a glare. A little bit of a glare. But this is my little bump, and I started showing at, oh, here, just a second. So I started showing really early at 9 weeks, and it was very interesting because we had gone to my OBGYN the week before, 8 weeks, and she was feeling on my uterus and everything, and she was like, you're gonna start showing very soon. You're gonna start showing earlier than when pregnant people normally start showing. And I was like, okay, you know, I hope that's not a bad thing. And literally week 9 got there, and it was like I woke up with a bump overnight. So I have been showing since 9 weeks. I am currently, like I said, 17 weeks, measuring 6 days ahead, so 18 weeks. Oh, also, if you're diabetic, this is something I learned that I did not know. Diabetics babies, their lungs aren't fully developed until 38 weeks. So instead of the normal 36, 37 weeks, diabetics babies' lungs aren't developed fully until 38 weeks. And then as far as my diabetes and my doctor does not want me to go any longer than 39 weeks. So I will probably have to be induced if he doesn't come on his own before then, just because of the fear of him growing too big and me not being able to push him out, or, you know, just him getting too big in general. That can lead to other complications. So right now I am set at delivering between 38 and 39 weeks. She wants him in there at least 38 weeks so his lungs can be fully developed, but no longer than 39 weeks. So I will be delivering early. As for right now, that's the plan. And I am set for a vaginal birth right now, but as for anyone, that could change. And especially with me being diabetic, you know, it basically is going to go with, you know, how big he's measuring or the complications or all of that. That's going to tell me, you know, if I'll have to have a C-section or not. But right now we're on track for a vaginal delivery. What else? Now I think that's it. Well, I'm sure that's not it, but I'm just gonna have to save it for my second trimester video. But as far as my channel goes, I don't know where my channel's gonna go. I'm just posting these videos right now for my own memories and my family to watch, and for all my friends and family that live out of town to watch. So it's not to be a YouTube star or anything like that right now. But yeah, and also to just have fun, because that was why I started a YouTube channel to begin with, even though I didn't keep it up because I was awful at it. But yeah, it was for memories and to have a hobby. And my husband and I were newly married, I think, I think we had been married maybe a year, and I wanted a hobby, so I started making YouTube videos, and it was not good. But anyways, I don't know, it might go somewhere. I might need a hobby. I don't know, I'm a busy bee right now, so who knows. But for now, I just want these posted for memories and to look back on. And if, like I said, if a diabetic happens to somehow stumble across my video and take the time to watch it, then maybe they'll learn something. And yeah, so that is it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, beauties.